Well, hello, it's Monday, June the 14th. I'm bringing you this from Waikiki Beach in Hawaii. This weekend I spoke at the DNMAT meeting in Las Vegas, and my wife and I, Debbie, just came here to spend a weekend in Waikiki Beach. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is just what I talked about at the DNMAT meeting. And by the way, if you haven't been to a DNMAT meeting, you really need to go. Their major events are wonderful. Their destination education. The next one is August the 27th in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And they have a lot of dentists there. This one they had 360 dentists there, 300 staff. They put on a great meeting. But the thing that I talked about was quantum leap growth. How do you have quantum leap growth in your practice? How do you build the practice of your dreams in 24 months? And one of the things I talked about is just the power of lumineers in same-day dentistry. You know, when you do same-day dentistry, that your profitability is 90%. I mean, that's huge. We typically add $5,000 to $10,000 a day in same-day dentistry. Sometimes even more, as you've seen in the previous video blog that I put up, where we had a $71,000 day. I mean, we went from $44,000, which is not a bad day, to $71,000 because we added like 5 lumineer cases that day. So same-day dentistry is powerful, and that's simply just, you know, Mrs. Jones, would you like to get that done today while you're here? Now, to do that, you need to realize that you've got to have the capacity to do that, right? I mean, you've got to have the chair to put Mrs. Jones in. You've got to have an assistant in that treatment room, because you really don't have a treatment room without an assistant, right? You can't do Mrs. Jones' crown prep by yourself. So you can get a treatment room for about $30 a day. So if you buy a treatment room, you know, finance the equipment, the amortization and all, it's going to cost you about $30 a day. Your assistant in that room probably going to cost you about $200 a day. So for around $250 a day, you can have another treatment room that you can get the patient in and do that treatment. So if you do 1 crown a day that you work in, that's about let's say your crown fee is $1,000. Then for $250 a day overhead, so you had $750 in profit that day, right? If you're working 2 crowns, $2,000, and you have $1,750 a day in profit. So same-day dentistry is really powerful to get your numbers up, because we don't want Mrs. Jones to wait and do it later, do we? I mean, when is she most motivated to do it? I mean, she's most motivated to do it right now. So that's when we want to do it. Why even point her out a week or two when she's going to lose motivation, maybe decide she doesn't want to do it, maybe decide to get a second opinion? You know, just a lot of things can happen. So we want to work that in same day. But you got to have the time, you got to have the efficiency, and you got to have the systems and the treatment room and the staff to make that happen. Now, how do you get the time? You get the time with efficiency. In our office, we're extremely efficient. So you got to be very efficient, and that makes the time for you to do the treatment. Because it doesn't take a lot of time to do a crown prep, does it? I mean, our time. Once the patient's numb, for us to cut a crown prep and get an impression is not a lot of time. So if you're real efficient, then you can carve out that 15 minutes, that 20 minutes, whatever it takes you to do that procedure, and really push your numbers up. So same-day dentistry is wonderful, and the cool thing about lumineers is it's like same-day dentistry on steroids. Why? Because, I mean, the first appointment of lumineers is maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's typically just an impression. A little recontouring of the teeth, but mainly just an impression. So you can work 5 or 10 minutes in anywhere, and it's really highly a profitable procedure. There's a lot of profit in there. And so it allows you to work in same-day dentistry with lumineers in such a way that it really, really inflates your numbers, as you saw on my 71K day. So talk to you next time. Aloha from Hawaii, Waikiki Beach.